Welcome to Kolorflow Conversations. I am Uakeisha, and this is
Tikisha.
You said it like you did in the beginning when we first started.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, period.
Listen, we welcome you all to our show. I'm going to say our show. Our show.
Okay.
If this is your first time, we just two friends over 30 years just flowing with our conversations. And last week we had a great conversation.
We did. Last week was probably one of my most favorite, even though I was vulnerable and my little secret is out to the world. It was definitely one of my favorites.
You're always vulnerable, though, I think. I think that we are very vulnerable.
You're right, I am, but that hit something that I'm still working through, I guess, because it hit a soft spot.
Yeah. I think anytime we're talking about, yes, anytime we're talking about relationships, I feel vulnerable. It may not come across as that, but I do feel vulnerable because you're letting your personal feelings and your personal experiences out to for the world to see, and there are other people that's part of these stories.
Yeah.
And when you have other people that's part of these stories, I'm careful, and you always say this, like you always try to be politically correct, but I'm careful to not come across as like dogging
the other person,
because it's not a dogging thing. Like I've said many times, I'm not mad at anybody, but I want other people to be helped by our stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we always are vulnerable when we talking about that. When you talking about you want a husband or desire to have a husband, I mean, it's vulnerable. It's vulnerable.
Yeah. And I still think about that one little comment on why I don't want to read the comments no more. That's like, yeah, you way past your prime.
You did say that.
All right.
Whoever you are, sir.
He went straight to sir.
Yeah, he was like,
could be a woman.
Because I think it was a man.
We just don't know. It's fine.
We do not.
Because what's for me is for me.
Absolutely. And you know what? This last week has been we have our up and down weeks personally outside of this. This last week has been a very up week. Even though the devil hear me saying that, and he gonna try to attack that, but it's been a very, very up week for us. Well, for me, I feel like it's been for you too. Even though we haven't talked, I can feel your energy like you've been in a good mood.
Yeah, I've had a good week. I've had a good week. Do you realize this is number 30 technically, but in February, remember we recorded them and did them in parts. So
yeah,
we like past 30 some weeks in doing this.
Really? It seemed like we just started. I actually went back and looked at some of our initial beginning videos, and I was like, wow, we've come a long way.
Yeah, if you've watched over the weeks, like you can see the changes and stuff. Well, it still flows, but you can tell.
Yeah. I think that when people have a vision, a goal, a dream, that you have to just start it. Like we didn't really say, okay, this is going to be our goals, and we didn't write nothing down like that.
It's just like people talk about, I want to do this, and this was literally I want to do this, and we did it, and we're still doing it and figuring out things as we go.
You figure it out as you go along, and that's part of the goal for life. Like, don't let nothing stop you from doing what you want to do. Don't let people stop you, because we were saying before we started, the views we're getting, I was like, I don't think it's a lot of people that I know, because nobody is saying to me, I watched last week's episode or whatever, except the very few people that we know. But people who's in our everyday life, you can't let them deter you from what you want to do, what God's vision is for you, what your plan is, because they'll really, really discourage you, and that will get in your spirit and you'll stop.
Yeah.
You know, me being a makeup artist.
Everybody doesn't sit by and cheerlead for the other person in their life. And it doesn't even necessarily mean that they don't want to see you succeed. They just might not be cheerleaders.
I was about to say, me being a makeup artist, I had a client once that came and got her makeup done. She absolutely loved it. I thought she was beautiful. It's her first time. and she went home and her significant other dogged her. He made her feel so bad and told her how bad she looked. And don't you know, she washed her face and went to the event, and she texted me and said, I felt so bad. He made me feel so bad. And I was like, why would you be with somebody like that? Why do we do that? Like, I probably am guilty of doing that to somebody before too. Not in that way, but like, why you think that? Why you want to do that?
I'm pretty sure we all are guilty of that. And I'm, in one way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to be the exact, but I'm pretty sure that we've all critiqued somebody when they were feeling good.
Mm-hmm. Now I am aware, and I'm more intentional about the words I speak to the people that's around me, because I don't ever want anybody to feel like that. Ever. I don't want anybody to feel. That's why I feed delusions.
And I think too, people have to understand too, like, because I think I've said things and it's been like, oh, okay, but that's your style. And it's not saying like
a negative way, yeah.
It could not be negative, but could be interpreted negative because that person is looking for you to cheerlead them on, but it's necessarily like, it's not what I like, but it doesn't look bad on you because it's your style. It's just so many different ways of communicating. But when you hurt somebody's feelings, back to last week, when it's somebody that you love, like, that's messed up. Yeah. That she went and washed her face off after she left feeling some kind of way. But you know what? He was sucking her soul out of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
He saw she was happy and wanted that.
And wanted that.
He wanted that and he took it. She allowed him to take it, unfortunately.
She allowed it. And I've
done that so many times.
Yeah, let somebody take your...
Yeah, and so many times when it's been like, oh, okay, I know because you're saying that negativity that I'm fired. So thank you.
Let me ask you this, because you have transition, I'll say, I'm not going to use change, transition to modesty in your like attire. And it hasn't always been like that at all. We done wore our clothes. And nobody has tried to suck that out of you, or are you not letting anybody suck it out of you if they feel like it's a weird thing, or why is she doing that?
Since I've done it, I've only had like one person say something to me about it. But other than that, I haven't had conversations about it.
Really?
And honestly, if someone was to say something, I'm not going to let them, because I feel convicted now with certain things that I go to do. And it's not saying that I'm not going to come in here, because I got to split on right now. So it's not saying that I'm not going to show any skin at all, but I probably won't show as much as I did before. Just like last week, I still had the sheer sleeves, where before I would have wore that shirt with just a bra.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have had no tank top up under it. But now I feel it when I go to put on something that is just like, no, you might need to layer or add a little bit. But if somebody say something to me, because of my conviction with my relationship with my God, it don't even matter. It won't even faze me, because it's just like, this me. That's me.
I'm glad that because you know how cruel people could be. Like, why are you doing
that? Why
you
doing all that?
Yeah, why? I don't think it take all that. You know how many times over the years?
But the other thing is, I'm probably sure it's being said behind my back and just not to me directly.
True.
Let's be clear.
True.
Let's be clear.
True. Yeah. Yeah. Because the secret conversations.
Yes.
Yeah. But if people actually looked at the heart, like, wow, that's probably something that a lot of people more so need to look at. Like, why is she choosing to transition to modesty? And in the process of transition, you being blessed in multiple ways.
Tremendously.
Multiple ways.
And it's not, it's because I'm being obedient.
Yeah.
I'm being obedient on what's placed on my heart for me to do, no matter what. Even when I feel like, okay, I want to do this. It's just like, no, you ain't doing that.
Be obedient. Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. That's why I said before, I was like, it takes discipline. When it's things that you want to do with yourself, and you've been told to do the other thing, that's a discipline.
Yeah.
That most don't have. Yeah, I struggle with that. So I commend you, friend.
Thank you.
Because you look just as beautiful. Like,
thank you.
Skin glowing.
I honestly, I feel prettier.
Really?
Or I probably should say I feel pretty, because I've never viewed myself as this beautiful woman, or I'm just like, I'm Tikisha, I'm okay, this is how I look. But I actually, when I look in the mirror, I feel pretty for probably the first time in my life ever. I've been told that I was pretty and all of these things, but I've never thought that about myself.
Wait. So you never thought you were pretty?
No, I'm just regular. Like, I'm cute. Like, I didn't think that I was ugly, but I didn't think like I was the prettiest, period.
But it wasn't an insecurity.
Not like I'm comparing myself. It wasn't an insecurity. I was okay with who I was, but I never just felt like how I feel now. Like the glow that you talk about, I feel like I have a glow where it's just like, you look so pretty today. Like, I can literally say that to myself, and I've never said that to myself before. I've been like, oh, okay, I'm cute, and just, went on. But now it's just like, it's more meaning to it.
That's funny, because you said you always felt like you was a baddie, and no matter what you had on, but that didn't have anything to do with your looks. It just was how you felt on the inside.
Yes.
About yourself.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. But now it's like, it's all coming together where the person I am, that I know I am on the inside, is radiating outside, and I see her when I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Because I've never thought like, oh my God, I'm ugly, I need work. I knew I was that girl.
Yeah.
But now I see that girl that I always felt on the inside.
Yeah.
So some of the people who seen that when I wasn't see it, I see it now too.
I think I had pretty moments. When I say pretty moments, where I felt pretty.
I understand that completely.
Where
I can identify with that.
I felt pretty. Not, again, I never thought I was ugly.
Right.
But I've had moments where I felt like, I look pretty today. I feel good. And that's where the Sophia come in, or what, but I didn't have the confidence on the inside like you did, where I felt like I was a baddie no matter what I had on, or whatever. And that came from insecurity. We talked about traumas, growing up, healing journey is way different now, but I had pretty moments, and I probably wanted to hear the compliments more than you probably felt like you didn't need a compliment.
I never needed a compliment, and that came from the way I grew up too. Because I've heard people give compliments and then talk about people behind their backs. Ooh. So I never trust a compliment, if I'm being honest with you.
Even now,
I do not trust compliments. If it's from somebody in my immediate circle that I trust and love, I accept it. But I don't trust compliments, because I watched that so many times where it's just like, girl, you look good, and then they walk away and you look a mess. I think we talked about this for a second before, but because of that, it's just like, you could tell me how pretty I am to my face all day and night, and it don't matter. You ain't.
Yeah.
And now I know it.
Yeah, I had a hard time accepting compliments. Even now I work on it, because similar to you, like hearing people talk about people behind their back so much, and even engaging in the conversations myself in the past, because now,
because we've,
I probably compliment people all the time, and I mean it, because I'm coming from an authentic place. But I have a hard time accepting compliments from people over the years, because if they would say, "Oh, you look pretty," I'm like, "Oh, this just," I never would say
a simple thank you.
Never could say thank you. Never could say thank you. It was more
where it's
I would always like, explaining.
Yeah, you gotta explain it. Where it's like, I ain't asking you where you got your dress from. I'm telling you, you look pretty.
Yeah,
put together. You look pretty, friend. Today.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, where you get that shirt from?
Girl, this came from Ross. Right. You know,
exactly.
I can't. And I was always, and still sometimes am that person that if you give me a compliment, I'm gonna start explaining. And I catch myself after like, why am I explaining? Just be like, thank you, girl.
Yeah, just say thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. But when you come from a place where it's been inauthentic for years.
Because that's what we're doing. We're healing stuff that we've experienced for years. That we've experienced and repeated.
Yeah. And I don't repeat, I'm out of repeating cycles. Like I don't repeat cycles. Like even with example, my daughter, I am not repeating the cycles of telling her things about her body that I was told about when I was younger. You getting fat, or you that. I don't do that. I don't let her accept that. Now, if I say something to her, like we just this week had a conversation, and I told her, I said, I don't want you to think that I say things to you ever to hurt your feelings like it was told to me when I was a child. I said, our family has a history of being unhealthy, diabetics, high blood pressure, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't want that cycle to continue. I said, so if I say, girl, don't put too much thought on that, or what, don't, what I'm coming to you from a place of, I want us to change the generational curse of being unhealthy. And she sat there and listened to me, and we talked about it. She was like, thank you. Because a lot of times when we're told as kids, or you
because I don't know the reason behind that. That's what I was thinking all the time of like, oh, you gaining weight, or in my case, you too skinny.
Yeah,
because I got a lot of that.
Yeah. And that's why I said that. And God leads me, Holy Spirit leads me to have these conversations with my kids, because I never want them to believe or think anything negative about themselves like I did growing up, as far as my body or the way I look, or my face got to be perfect, or my hair got to be perfect, or whatever. I never want them to have that feeling. So I went in her room, and because I think I got it. I love to have French fries. We all love French fries in this house.
I love French fries. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we love French fries.
That was my dinner the other day, just French fries.
Yeah, we would eat French fries every day here. And so I had made the comment like, man, we need to stop eating these French fries all the time, because we're going to get fat, And then after I thought about that, like, let me go have a conversation. Really, it's unhealthy for us to eat French fries every day.
It's not the getting fat.
It's not healthy for us to eat the French fries every day. It can cause high cholesterol, high blood. We don't want to put ourselves in a position. And I even use my mother as an example. My entire family. Sorry, y'all, but she had 11 brothers and sisters. Half of them were diabetics. Half of them had high blood pressure. And it's because of the way we ate. We fried all the vegetables.
Yeah.
So I explained that to her in a way, my daughter in a way where I'm like, don't ever think I'm coming at you about your weight, like you getting fat. What I want all of us to be healthy. All of us. And I struggle with it too. But, I don't want her to grow up like we think of how we thought about ourselves.
Absolutely not.
Ever.
Absolutely not.
Ever. Her or her friends. I'm the same way if they're around me, like, girl, I'm an encourager. I'm never going to tell a young lady or a young man. There's a young man that she's friends with that he, I guess, had the reputation of being the bad kid or whatever, the kid. And when I got to know him, I was like, he ain't so bad. I'm like, I see in him something that ain't nobody else trying to see while you trying to label him. I'm like, I see something in him that nobody else.
We quick to label people.
So I am intentionally now trying to not label children, adults, men, women, friends, family. I'm trying to move away from that. And you know how hard that is?
When you were growing up, did your parents compliment you on your looks and stuff?
No.
Oh.
No. Well, I'll say this. My parents were raised in the South, Mississippi. They picked cotton. They stayed focused on what they had to do. I think that when they had children, it was kind of like how they were raised. You raise your kids, they go to school, you go to church, you provide. My father was kind of hands off with a lot of things with us. I don't think until my mother passed away was when, well, no, not passed away, when she got sick, that me and my father really started forming this closeness that I had never had. I remember, because this is the first time I started feeling teary-eyed on this podcast.
I see it in the corner. Okay. Welcome. Welcome to my crybaby world.
This is the first time, but I remember it was shortly after my mother had her stroke. And when I was going through, I had caught my ex-husband, his situation, and my mother was sick. Me and my father was both struggling at the same time. And I was staying at their house at this time. And I went in the kitchen and he was sitting at they had this bar. And I sat next to him and we both was just kind of like, man, we just going through it. I was like, oh, I will never forget that moment, because we didn't pray out loud together, but it was just like, we both looked at each other like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. Like, we're going to come out of this. And which is why now, girl, I can't believe I'm crying.
It was like the bonding moment that you needed as a little girl that you got as an adult.
That's what it was. It was the bonding moment. And from that point on, me and him talk on the phone. Well, we don't talk on the phone every day now because he married and I be giving him space. But me and that man will talk on the phone like every day, a couple of times a day. But even when we talk now, when we're talking more so, it's father-daughter, but it's more of a friendship almost bond as well. Like, what you doing? That I never had growing up. So sadly, bad things happen to you that bring you closer together.
Yeah. Yeah.
It brings you closer together.
It really does.
It brings you closer together. So my parents were not the complimentary. My mother would say, "Oh, you look good in that dress," or you
yeah,
know.
My mom would do that.
Do that. Mm-hmm. But more so, I was examined when I walk in the room, look up and down, head to toe. Let me see if you're appropriate.
Yeah.
More so than you look nice or you look pretty.
I can see that.
You know what I'm saying?
I can see that.
So it's
because hard. You needed to be presentable based on the lifestyle that you guys were living. Based on the lifestyle,
yes. Based on the lifestyle that our family still have. My family still, have that lifestyle. The pastor's daughter, you have to be a proper. Mm-hmm. You can't. So even when I moved out, when I walk in the room, it was more so, girl. Because when I started wearing jeans to church, it was, she was mad at me. And I would laugh because it was like a joke to me. Like, girl, why you got them hoes in your jeans? I know she probably looking at me.
You wore distressed jeans to church?
I sure did. Because I was moving away from.
I'm clutching my pearls.
I was moving away from.
You were stepping into the for real, come as you are.
Come as you are. My heart needs this more so than the way I look.
Yeah.
More so than the way I look.
You were going for the word. Going in the building for the word, not feeling like you had to be looking a certain way.
Not feeling like I had to have the hat, the purse, the gloves, the shoes, everything, the dress, the suit to match. And I'm still going to walk in church. Sometimes I dress up when I go, but I am moving away from judging people for that, because I know how it felt on the inside of me to walk in the room and be examined, not just from my mother, but from my aunties, the older cousins, the church women.
The church, period.
Looking at me up and down, making sure, that girl, you see that short dress that girl had on? I was trained in that way, but we don't know everybody's story.
Right. So
now that I'm older, my father don't ask me, did you go to church today? He know. I don't know if he knows that I am, because this is something we haven't talked about. I don't know if he knows that I'm in my word like I am. But he doesn't come at me like he would have 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. He don't come at me like that. So I don't want my children. We got to break these curses.
We do.
And with everything that's happening in the world, I want to raise good humans.
Period.
Good humans.
Same.
Good people. Mm-hmm. Good people that love God, love their family, don't want to be, because my kids will
and
correct
love
me.
Themselves. That's the biggest part of breaking the curses, is learning to love yourself as is.
As is. As is. Love yourself. Because loving yourself is actually, it's hard when you're trying to break a curse, but it's easy when you start doing
it. When you start to realize what it feels like when you love yourself, it becomes easier.
Yeah. 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 I loving myself now, and I say it to you because I know you know what it feel like when I can't describe like how it feel. Mm-hmm. Like it's not a feeling, it's just freeing. It's just, I can't explain.
You can't put it into words.
I can't put it into words how it feels to love myself now. To not have the insecurities that I've had all my life. To not have to look for the approval of other people.
So let me tell you something, because I was thinking about this. I was looking at some old pictures, don't know why. My sister has sent me some old pictures, some of my dad and my mom, like even them slicing their wedding cake and stuff.
Really?
And it was a picture on my graduation day, and I looked at how my chin was. So when I smile, I have these like
dimples.
Dents.
Yeah. Dimples.
Okay.
Dimples. Don't say dents, dimples.
I have these dimples in my chin. And as an adult, I've hated them, and I've always wondered where did they come from. But when I looked at that graduation picture, I said, they always been there. They didn't just come. This is a part of who you are. But because in my adult life in the 2000s, later on, with coming into social media and these filters and me looking everybody else with their smooth and perfect skin.
Or you think it's smooth?
Yeah, perfect. I think I started stepping into that and judging my imperfections from others.
Yeah.
And that is so right. Because I remember the first time I had got an HD TV or whatever it's called. I will never forget that, because I was late. Because I'm like, my Tubi TV still work. I'm not upgrading to no flat screen and all this. This still work.
And then you can see people's skin up close.
I called my daddy and said, why you didn't tell me? I will never forget that, because I was like, these people look a mess. But I had put it all up, but I shouldn't say a mess. But it was just like,
it was different. It was different. It was regular skin. They all had it. They all had it. Yeah.
So I just, like, the other day when I was just looking at that picture, it just really made me not even be self-conscious about that. I hugged myself, and not literally, but watching it was just like giving myself a hug. Like, girl, this is a part of who you are. You got them dimples.
Yeah.
And accept it.
Yeah.
And your smile is still pretty.
Yeah. 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 Girl, you're talking about some filters, because when I take makeup pictures and stuff, I don't filter my clients' pictures or anything, because I, again, want people to know we regular people. Everybody regular to me. Even if you're a celebrity, you regular. Ain't nothing.
I agree. Oh my God. I agree. I cannot say that enough, because I've seen people put other people, celebrities, socialites, like on a pedestal. And I'm like, they're people just like us.
Yeah.
Just like us. They're just known by more.
They known by more. They may have some more money, but they regular people.
And there's some celebrities that I don't know that you may know, and vice versa, socialites and all of that, but they still just regular people.
They regular people. I don't care how they try to portray it. They're regular people. They got the same. They step into their jeans and panties and shoes and stuff.
Just like us.
Just like us. And they're regular people. And while we are like worshiping, people, because that's what we do. We worship them, just like, girl, talk about worship. I don't know if you've been involved with the looking at the news and stuff, because now we have our new candidate that's running for president.
Yes, I am aware.
Okay, so I ain't trying to talk politics, but on the one side, I was watching a commercial and the guy was just like, he's a Trumpster. He was just like, he's just like Jesus.
Oh.
And I said, did he say? And the guy repeated the question. He said, did you say he was? He was like, yeah, because he's done so good for everybody and people want to do him bad. And he compared the man to Jesus. And I said, we are in trouble because we worship people. We worship people. And people even could be worshiping Kamala. But I'm not going to worship anybody.
No.
We're all regular people.
Yeah, we're all human beings. I'm not worshiping nobody.
I'm not worshiping anybody. I'm going to vote where I want to vote, but I ain't going to worship anybody. I'm going to do what's best for my kids, but I'm not going to worship anybody. We're all regular. I don't care what your social status is.
Yeah.
I'm not worshiping you. I'm not going to do that. And I'd rather help the homeless person that's a regular person too, that's in need, than worship a celebrity. Just like, I said, I realized the other week that I'm probably not as big as a fan of music people that I like as I thought, because I don't worship, anybody like that. I'm just not going to put anybody on a pedestal. I'm not going to argue with you in the comments. I'm not going to.
Yeah, and I'm a fangirl, and I'm not going to argue with in the comments, and I'm not worshiping the artists that I really like. I'm a fan.
You like,
and I wouldn't even put me at a groupie level, because I'm not about to check. I don't want your autograph. I don't.
So I said, I'm like, what I'm gonna do? And I've had people autographs over the when I was younger and went places and got. I don't know where the autographs is.
Right.
I don't know where it is.
I don't want your autograph. I'm okay.
I don't know where it is. So I enjoy listening to people. I enjoy like celebrity news. It's entertainment for me.
Yes.
I use it for entertainment because that's what it's supposed to be. It's entertainment.
And that's what they are, really. Entertainers.
Entertainment. Now, when something break out from their life story, I look at that like, what's happening with P. Diddy. I take it as a lesson, because when me reading Proverbs, it talks about people who put themselves above and how God will knock you down. I take it as a lesson like, now God said that was going to happen. God said these things will happen. But I don't look at it like that's what he get, blah, 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 because we all do wrong.
Yeah, we do. We
all do wrong. So,
and it's just different kinds of wrong.
Ain't no levels to y'all wrong. It's levels to y'all wrong, but wrong is wrong. Wrong is wrong. So I just, I'm not going to worship anybody. We're all regular people. I don't want anybody to feel bad about how they look. I don't want anybody to be, why she wear that? We're so judgmental and opinionated that, somebody might look at this and be like, why they got that on? What? I don't care.
Yeah, because I wanted to wear it. Okay.
Like, I don't care. I don't. Yeah. So, what you got? I'm just talking.
Girl, it's okay. Keep talking. Keep talking. That's what we here for. Yeah, that's what we here for.
I just, I want us to be different. I want us to be different. I want us to raise.
When you say kids. Us,
I'm talking about
the human race.
Yes. Yes, I want everybody, because I actually have a difficult time, like even now with this election stuff. So-and-so did this, well, so-and-so did this. It's like everybody dogging and we fighting against each other, and we talking about each other. We talking about somebody's looks, and we talking about race. And it's like, it's so simple to just, we can have differences in what we believe.
I saw a TikTok the other day, and he asked the guy, was one of them like on the street where they ask questions, and he asked the guy, what race do you not like the most? I believe that was the question. Let's not quote me, but I know his answer was, I don't believe in race. I think we're all wheat. So it was like a stitch. And the guy looked up like the color coding of wheat, and it came in all different kind of shades, from like white.
Really?
Yes. To like darker caramel and stuff. It was all different kind of shades. And I was just like,
wow.
Yeah. I had never heard anybody say anything like that before. But it was just like, if we step out of the color, but this is what
this is the world we live in. This is the world we live in. And I mean, it's not going to change.
No, it's not.
We can have an opinion about it or whatever, but
let me be clear. I'm black. Okay. And I'm for the blacks. Same. Let me be clear.
What did what's her name say? Oh God.
But it does, I'm not racist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you love, it's nothing wrong with saying Black Lives Matter and you're black.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with me supporting my own kind and wanting to see my own kind as a minority group succeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, because again, as I always be like, I'm black, I know about black people and what I see, but I feel like we always be bashed for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, nobody else was slaves. So
here we go. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? So
valid point.
Us being able to come out of that.
Noted.
Yeah. Us being able to come out of that. Not saying other cultures didn't go through
a struggle. Right.
But coming out of that, we're proud. We're proud that we're able to have a voice and overcome it. You know, we were not actually slaves, but our ancestors were.
Right.
We get the lessons, we hear the stories. We're family members not so far away from us were in that life. So
yes, it's not that many generations ago. When you think about it, I mean, you said several times, including today, about what your parents did.
Yeah, my parents. I mean, my father had to leave.
So did he move here for work?
He moved here for work. He moved here for work to work at the auto plant. You know, they drove, and this is what
I've known you for 30 years, and I've never asked you anything about your grandparents. This show you how I literally don't be asking questions, because we've never talked about that.
Yeah, my grandparents, I only met one. My father's father. My mother's father passed before I was born. I think her mother passed before I think maybe she was pregnant with me. I don't remember her. Tanya remember her. I think Tanya may have been 2 or 3. My mother's mother passed before I was born as well, I think.
So when you were growing up, did your parents tell you stories about their life and like growing up? Because I wish I knew, like now looking back, I knew my mom as my mom. I knew her as my friend on the stuff that I wanted, on my friend stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not as, I don't know anything about really her growing up in her childhood, her dating. I don't know any stories. I don't know any stories that I can tell about my grandparents.
That was the good thing about my family.
One, so I don't know. I don't know anything about my history. I'm just here.
No, that was a good thing about my family. They always told stories. Always. When we got together with uncles and aunts, they always told stories. So I knew a lot about my grandparents. But like my mother's father, he pastored 2 churches in the South when they was growing up. And so I knew stories about them, but I only met one. But I never had that grandparent feel like, you know how everybody be like, I'm going to my grandma's house.
Yeah. That was the one thing that I know that you and I had in common.
Yeah, I never had that. So when people say my grandma, I don't know what that feels like at all. My kids got to experience it with my mom, and then they have their granny on their dad's side. But I still don't even know if they have that. Well, yeah, because they was always at my mama's house. They was always at my mama's house. So
how is it important to you? Like, do you incorporate them knowing the stories about the stories that you were told about your family, have you incorporated that with your children?
I have not. Not like I'm just thinking about it now. I have not, but I will start because they probably just think that we always been privileged. You know what I'm saying? Not that we,
but we ain't out here.
We ain't in the struggle.
Exactly. It ain't the best of the best, but it ain't the worst of the worst.
Yeah, we ain't in the struggle. So that's something that I'm going to have to start like sharing with them, because the one thing my son said the other day, and I had to look at him because we was getting some college stuff together, and I made a comment, and he was like, "Well, if it don't, then me and you'll work it out." I was like, he always used to me working it out. They don't know the struggle. They don't have any idea about the struggle. So that is something that I think that I need to start passing on to them. About
absolutely,
my
family because I was going to say, I don't want to say, but I do want to say it because I think it really does bother me that I don't know those things.
Yeah.
And my mom not here for me to hear from her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know about my father's childhood, but what I do know is that it makes him uncomfortable. So it's only so much that he will say. And I can understand that, especially like, my dad was in the military, so I can only imagine the type of traumatic experiences that he's had to lead him into being the man he is today. Yeah. And all the time, you don't want to talk about those experiences, even though a lot of times they need to be heard.
My father has talked in general, even over the pulpit, he's talked about the struggles of the South with him and picking cotton and being a young boy. And he had to leave school in the 8th grade to go work. And he's one of the smartest people I know that don't have a high school or college education, honestly, for real. But he also has talked a very little about his home life. And I could tell there was some traumatic events that happened, but he don't go in depth into it. It's enough for me to know that it made him the person he is today. Mm-hmm. It may, because when you have traumatic experiences, you either gonna take that same traumatic route, or you're gonna be like, I don't want my life like
to be like that. I want to go the other route. Turn it around. So as
best you can. So when he decided to come here, and back in them days, they told us how all cousins and uncles was taking jobs here. They piled in a car, drove here, lived in the same houses together. I've heard all these stories that we don't see a lot of unity like that now.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't,
and I wish we did. And I had said last week, remember I was talking about the Nelly and Ashanti with the show, and I was just like, I think that's a bad idea because it's private. And then I got home and I thought, like, I want to retract that because I want to see success, but I don't want to see like the in and outs of it.
I don't want
because it's something about on the forefront, but we don't see nothing like that. Because like I said, growing up, we had Cosby Show, even though I didn't see it in the world because we weren't so much in people's lives
like that. Yeah.
So now all we have is reality shows. So I need that show to work, to show me so I can live through them because right now, the husband ain't came yet. Okay. So I need something.
Oh, listen,
because we had sitcoms and stuff, and it's just like I'm like I watch Abbott Elementary, but that's it.
If you want that show to come, I'm just gonna have to add them to my prayer list because I don't want their love comes off to me as genuine, and like we got another chance to get this right.
And even if it's not them, I need more of that out there. Mm-hmm. I need more of that where it can say, no matter what the world says, we in here, we doing our thing.
We got this. We together. We got this. Yeah. We don't see it a lot.
No.
Not in a positive way. The reality shows definitely don't give us that.
And I don't even really watch very much reality TV. If it's not feeding, and that's something else. about going through this journey. I am mindful of everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
I am mindful of everybody that I'm around. And now that I think about it, maybe that's why nobody said anything about me transitioning into how I dress, because of who I'm around.
Yeah, that's true. Because I never said anything. And
so it's just like I'm mindful of what I feed my spirit.
Same.
Every now and then, I ain't gonna lie. The other day I watched a little movie on Tubi, and I'm gonna give a shout out to that 10 Toes Down. One of my old co-workers, she was, I believe, a producer on it, Janaea Black. It was good. It was just like, dang, but it was, I liked it, but I stepped away because that used to be all I watched.
Yeah.
And I stepped away from watching that because I'm like, I just want something that's going to be positive, that is for me to see that it exists. What we're calling my delusions, even though I know it's TV and it's make-believe, I want to see it on TV so it can feed into my delusions, and it can be real one day, because everything in our community is not us sleeping with somebody else's man or woman or anything like that. Some of it is real genuine love, and we need that out here.
Yeah, it was so. This morning I was listening to something, because I don't even watch TV anymore. I used to be a TV fiend.
Yeah,
I don't watch my TV.
But you used to watch Seinfeld, ain't that what it is?
No, it's like Roseanne and Friends.
It's the other one. It's one of them little shows. Is it not Seinfeld?
Girl, I used to watch. What's the?
Okay, we'll come back.
I can't remember, but because I like the delusional stories. Like, it didn't have to be a love story for me. It could just be I like to laugh, whatever.
Right.
But I haven't watched anything. But talking about, do you think that the main thing you want to see is Black love, or any love, real love?
I want to see Black love because I watch Hallmark all day long, and I see tons of Caucasian love.
But ours be all ratchet.
Yes.
And breaking up.
Yes.
And fighting.
Yes. It's far and few that I see.
Wow.
Drop in the comments some names of some that's not, but the ones that I see are far and few. So I know I can get it, from mainstream media, but I don't see a lot of us with that.
Yeah, you're right. And the ones who are married
and
for
I
years,
guess
they don't put their stuff on TV, like Denzel and his wife.
Yeah, and I guess again that takes me back to those books that I've been reading, because they go through traumatic experience. It's a lot of drama in that, but it still ends in we made it through. We made it through.
Why we gotta have the drama?
And honestly, though, the drama that's in it is not theirs in the relationship. It's them dealing with their individual drama and coming together. So it's just like me healing whatever I'm going through in my childhood, and then coming together with my partner, because we dealt with our stuff separately that may intertwine in our story, but our love has been true from the very beginning. And it just feeds my soul. I told her I done read 2 books this week already, and today Thursday.
I can't believe you finished 2 books in it, but you're not.
And that's in the midst of me reading my other stuff too, because I be trying to read stuff that's educational too. I try and give me that little fairy tale, because you need some little relaxation, but I need to learn. So I do a lot of reading. I love to read. That man gonna have to give me a big old room with a study. Ain't that what they call a study? So I can have books all on the wall.
I've always loved to read too. Them stories get to me, like, this could really happen. This is, but I have not been reading like you have lately. Not the story. So I'm gonna have to read these books you've been reading, because you've been talking about these books for last month or so. Like, girl, I'm reading this book, and I'm like, what? Like, girl, I ain't read a book like that in a long time. I don't even remember the last couple. And I have a ton of books.
Yes.
That I've read.
You done put me on some books years ago, but I enjoy it.
Yeah. I can imagine it. The story.
I just try to sit around something that's just gonna be positive and a little bit more productive for me, I guess.
Yeah. Same. Which is why I didn't like intentionally turn the TV off, But when you start to like change your life mentally, spiritually, physically, it just was like
it's so many things that just happen.
Yeah.
That you just really think back and be like, dang, I don't even do that no more. And it was something that you used to do, because I don't know when I transitioned from watching every single Ratchet Tubi movie that came out versus me not watching TV at all. Like this morning, I turned Tubi on because they get live TV, and that's how I watch Channel 2 News in the morning.
I've never watched Tubi. I've never seen a Tubi movie. I've never seen it. I don't know if I should be sad to say that because it's supporting our people, but I've never seen a Tubi movie. And probably because I'm getting away from the ratchet, I don't want to call it movies ratchet. The type of movies that's being made don't interest me anymore. But
I done said ratchet like 30 times. And by ratchet, I just mean that it's somebody sleeping with somebody else's man.
Yeah.
That is the premise in so many of them. And that right there is ratchet behavior, no matter how you want to look at it. That's what I'm calling it. I'm standing 10 toes down, like the movie name, on ratchetness.
Yeah, that you're right. You're right. But I just, I'm trying to be intentional about where I feed my spirit.
Me too. And it's very important.
It's very important to me to feed my spirit the right thing, because I take that stuff with me. I realize I carry it.
And I don't think people realize that the things that you feed yourself, it's literally you're feeding yourself. It is going somewhere in your soul.
Yeah. And you're gonna.
And if you're not paying attention to how much you feed yourself, like I can watch a movie here and there and it not be whatever, but I don't want it to fester in where I start thinking that this is okay and not necessarily thinking it, but before I think about it, I'm acting or doing things that is just like, oh, I don't want to do that. Because it's just the same as being around a demonic spirit, evil spirit, all of that negativity. Mm-hmm. It feeds you, it changes you. Mm-hmm. So it's important to be mindful of who you're around.
Mm-hmm. And these spirits are real.
Yes.
Did you? I know you saw about the lady that was shot by the cop.
Yes.
And
the whole rebuke.
I said she saw that spirit on him, and that demon came out. When she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," he got angry. That demon came out of him. She died rebuking him and praising God, basically.
And I remember in one of the clips I saw on TikTok, somebody was just like, yeah, she was saying that I rebuke him in the name of God, but where did God get her now? She's dead. And somebody else commented, it's just like, you don't understand, it's bigger than that.
It's way
like
bigger.
Her soul.
Her soul is with God.
Because you know what people got to realize? We all gonna leave here and we don't know how.
We all.
But the one thing that I know is she left here with her soul being covered.
Covered, baby. That's why I said her family, even though I know they probably sad she gone, the way she left here, they'll use the word tragic. Very tragic.
Extremely.
But man, she left here like with her belief in God, like, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. That demon was still on him. That evil spirit was still on him even after. He didn't even want to use his medical kit to help her. He said, I ain't got to waste my kit on her. I was like, oh.
This is what our protect and serve look like.
Yeah. That's why with this, what's going on with election stuff, I said us as Black women, and we have a Black woman running, I believe that we're going to be attacked even more, because they don't realize our magic. And it's going to be where if you don't have that intentional, I'm about to put on my whole armor every day. Every single day. You don't know.
6.
You don't know what's going to come up against you. I'm sure when she called them searching for help, because she thought somebody was snooping around her house, and she didn't think that she was going to end up dead. We have no idea. And no matter what we say, like, don't call the police, don't do, you don't know what situation you're gonna be in. Us, a lot of people out here that's turned crazy.
Yeah.
When it comes to us.
Yeah.
When it comes to us. I mean, I was in Walgreens the other day, standing behind this older lady in line. The cashier said, "Hello, how are you?" And the lady just looked at her and put her stuff down. And the cashier looks at me, our eyes meet, and I'm like, And so when she told her the amount of the money, the lady put her money down on the table. She didn't want to touch her hand. Then the cashier gave her a check and slammed it down on the, and I just was like, Lord. So when it got to me, she said, "You saw that?" I was like, yeah, I saw it. People really think that we don't live this every day.
Every day.
That we don't live it every day. And not everybody is like that, but we live it in some shape, form, or fashion every day. And it's only going to get worse because it talks about it in the Bible. It's only going to get worse for us. So you got to put on your whole armor every day. Because I still got that ratchet in me where I will.
I mean, last week I just talked about a murder. So, hey.
That's what I'm saying. I will go off on, I had to tell some of my white counterparts the other day. We was having a conversation and we was laughing and joking about something. I said, well, I can't engage in a lot of that because my mouth will cuss all y'all out. And they kind of looked at me laughing and then they realized I wasn't joking. I was like, I will. And then I'll be that angry black woman.
Yep.
So I can't engage in, I have to put my whole armor every day because I don't know what type of attack is going to come up against me, with me being a black woman. So, it's just different for us. It's never going to be equal.
No, it's never going to be equal.
It's not going to be equal. I don't care what, I don't care how many black friends you got. It's not going to be equal. It's not. It's never going to be equal. I accept that.
I do too.
I accept it. I don't expect, what's happening now. I am very proud.
Sadly, we don't even treat each other equally.
We don't.
We be our own worst enemies.
Yeah, we dog our friends and family and all this. And then we want to come together when it's time to elect and vote. But then you go out here and you dogging your loved one. Like, we're not even treating people each other equal. So no, it's, my greatest hope is that we will all come together. But that's not how God, he wanted it that way. But when we sinned, that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. It's never going to be like that. So, I enjoyed our talk today.
Me too. I did not think it was going to get all kind of deep this.
Go deep.
This was a bit more than I expected. I need a little bit more fluff when I go home. Gotta fluff it out.
The conversation got intense. I've never shared a tear on here, and I'm not a crier.
I know.
I'm not a crier. I don't be, how people go live and they crying and, well, it's me, and I'm not a crier.
I'm a crier, but I ain't going live and cry, okay? But I'm a crier. It don't take much.
I'm not a crier. But today it was a tearful moment for me, and it was a lot. I'm gonna have to toughen up when I get off this camera. But we want y'all to like, listen, and subscribe. What?
Because yesterday I said something to my niece, and she said, "You need to toughen up," and I said, "Okay."
The youngest one,
of course. She always put me in check.
She said, "Well, yeah, we got to toughen up on some things."
Mm-hmm.
I think we know what areas.
Soft with you, sir.
I hope he watching. I'm gonna say this again. I'm talking to her husband. She is ready. She's ready. Would you just come out? She's ready.
Listen, stop, Keisha, because I ain't all the way 100% comfortable, so I'm still feeling like it's a desperate thing.
No, it's not a desperate thing, but you're ready. You're ready. You ready. You didn't. The way your character, your integrity, the changes you've made and the positive that you felt like, I should change this if I want to be married. You've done that.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of what I do want to say this before we close out, because I do want that. And I remember hearing the other day about, you know, you want this man to come in and do all of these things for you, but what you doing for yourself. And I've been taking care of myself for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue to do that. Mm-hmm. But there's so many little things that I've wanted, because I've always been like, I just want to live a life of leisure and luxury. And I just want to say, like, I'm living that right now. It's just that my luxury level might not be, I got a $2 million yacht.
Yeah.
But
I mean, me and you both.
It's still.
Yeah. We.
Lux and lease. Plenty of leisure.
Yeah. Very, very, very leisurely. I mean, this week we both got somebody sponsored a trip for us.
Yes, that is. Oh my God! I told her that this morning, and I told her this morning that when I sat down, I normally go through saying my prayers. I read my Bible verses that I always read, and I just sat there in the gratitude of just thanking God, because that was a blessing that I was not expecting at all.
I wasn't either.
So I am looking forward to that trip.
I am, and we've never traveled together.
No, we have not. So it's gonna be nice.
And we're gonna do behind the scenes when we go.
Yes,
we gonna do behind.
We gonna that, because we ain't telling y'all when.
Yeah, we gonna give you details. We ain't gonna give you details, but it's coming up, and we're going to do behind the scenes, because we've never traveled together. So it's going to be interesting to see, because you know you bougier than me.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting for you to see how you deal with, oh, girl. You're going to be like, okay.
Listen, I was like, but I am anticipating us having a great time.
Me too.
We probably couldn't have traveled together before this, because we wasn't in this same space. But now it might be a little easier for me to handle your bouginess.
Let's wrap this up. Handle my bouginess.
Listen, we want y'all to like, listen, subscribe, share with your friends. Let us know what you think in the comments. We talked about a number of different things today, and we want to hear your thoughts on the comments. Race, love, family, culture. Tell us what you think. If you have suggestions on something you want us to talk about, put it in the comments. You can find us on www.youtube.com @kolorflowconversations. We will see you all next week.
Peace.